The untouchable True School Sports Empire proudly presents something the boxing game's been missing. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Now, this is why boxing can't have nice things. This is exactly why boxing can't have nice things. We just got done yesterday talking about Earl Spence and him pulling out of the fight because of a detached retina. You know, people have their own conspiracy theories about that, if that's even true, because we really haven't seen any proof yet. And now, coming off the heels of that, the next day after, David Benavidez has tested positive for the Chinese virus. He's tested positive for the Chinese virus. So this is why boxing can't have nice things. Boxing's in a horrible place right now. You know, it just seems to be like at a stage where, like, you know, Teofimo Lopez is he's not fighting because of Cambosos and IBF and Triller and all that nonsense. That's dragging out. You know, we got the Plant Canelo negotiations. That's been, you know, for lack of a better term, that's been an absolute shit show. Spence, Pacquiao, I mean, it's just getting ridiculous. And in the case of David Benavidez, right, I was very excited to see David Benavidez back in the ring. You know, this was actually a fight that yesterday, when the news about Spence and Pacquiao came out, I was getting excited for, because, you know, there really aren't too many fights left this month after this weekend to get excited about. And you know, Uzcategui is a guy that's fought Caleb Plant, so it would have been a common opponent with Caleb Plant. We could have compared and contrasted the performances. You know, I believe if he would have won, he would have been WBC mandatory, which means he would have been someone on that Canelo would have to, you know, fight in the near future. Otherwise, you know, he'd be criticized for ducking him. There were a lot of things to be excited about when it came to the David Benavidez fight, and the fact that it's not happening, and the fact that it's been, you know, it's not happening this month. It's just another blow for boxing. It's been a really tough month for boxing. It's been a very tough month for the state of boxing, you know, because, you know, these are notable fighters. These are notable fights, notable fighters. People, you know, fighters that people get excited to watch and see in the ring. And the fact that, you know, these fights aren't happening on the dates that they're scheduled for, it's just really unfortunate. And it's a sign of the times we're living in. And honestly, like, look, the COVID-19 thing, when it comes to boxing, you know, we had to call it into question because, you know, we've seen it in the past. You know, Teofimo Lopez, he tested positive for COVID, the Chinese virus. I'm not going to call it COVID, the Chinese virus, because that's what it is. The Chinese virus. He tested positive for the Chinese virus, and a lot of people speculated that he did that because he wasn't selling tickets for his fight against Cambosos in Miami. Same thing happened for Fury and Wilder 3, and that fight got pushed back. And now, could this be a similar situation with Benavidez? Could he be, you know, I'm not saying he doesn't have it, but I'm saying a lot of people are starting to believe that that COVID-19, or the Chinese virus, as we call it here on True School Sports, the Chinese virus, a lot of people think that the Chinese virus is a way for fighters to, and promoters, mainly promoters, because I know that the fighters want to fight. The fighters don't care if there's one person there, or 1,000 people there, or 1 million people there. They just want to fight. But the Chinese virus is a way for these promoters to push back the fights and get a better grip on the ticket sales, you know. So boxing's run of bad luck continues. You will not be seeing those 8-punch combinations with David Benavidez, nor will you be seeing undisputed from Caleb Plant, Canelo, crowning the first 168-pound champion, undisputed champion in history, nor will you be seeing Spence versus Pacquiao, the biggest fight of the summer. You know, boxing is really, really in a bad place right now. And with the way it's going, you know, hate him or love him, but this is why boxing needs Jake Paul. This is why boxing needs Jake Paul, because you could love Jake Paul or you can hate Jake Paul, but Jake Paul is fighting. And while Jake Paul is fighting, and while Jake Paul is doing really good numbers at the box office, pay-per-view wise, you know, these fighters are pulling off for COVID. These fighters aren't fighting each other. You know, these fighters are ducking each other. And boxing is the one losing out in the end. So boxing needs to really man up and get its shit together. And that's where we'll leave. That's where we'll leave this video. Boxing has to man up and get its shit together, because it's making it harder to follow. I'm someone who has to follow it because this is my job. This is what I do. This is what I love doing. But it's making it hard to follow at times, and it's for people that don't have a vested interest in the sport like me. For people whose lives aren't centered around boxing, they're making it very difficult for the casual fan to get involved in the sport. And I think because of boxing politics, along with COVID or the Chinese virus, and the best fights not happening, boxing is slowly but surely alienating and freezing out the casual boxing fan. And listen, I know this is a channel for hardcore boxing fans, but boxing needs casual fans, because if it doesn't have casual fans, the sport as we know it will cease to exist. All right, so we'll leave it at that. Benavidez versus Uzcategui not happening. Boxing, get your shit together.